Hi, Augie from TechSolve. I hope you are well. I just wanted to make a quick video about Zoom, and there have been a number of headlines recently about Zoom is not safe. Zoom meetings have been hacked, and there was another headline: Zoom is not safe for government secrets. So I just want to talk about some of these things. So the first one about Zoom is not safe for government secrets. It's been proven that Zoom's encryption is not full end-to-end encryption as we speak. I know they're working on it currently. So if you are a government department talking about government secrets, that's correct. Maybe Zoom is not right for you. Your call could be snooped on and someone could listen into your government secrets. My advice would be to seek advice from your security department within the government, and they would advise you which platform to use for your video calls. For the rest of us, those working in the enterprise or the small and medium business, Zoom is a secure enough service to use for your video calls. So it leads us to the next part, really. These headlines about calls being hacked or Zoom bombed, as they like to call it. I know someone personally whose call was interrupted and disturbing images or video was shared with the meeting. So what's going on here? How is this happening if the platform is secure? Well, really, this is to do with just settings within Zoom meetings. When you set up your meeting and when you are running your meeting, there are certain features which you can enable to make your meeting more secure. So I just want to talk about that for a few minutes. It's going to be a real short call and a short video, and after that I'll probably put a screen shot of some of the settings and where you can find them, and the things I'm going to talk about. So really there's three features which I think you should enable just to secure your meeting. The first one is having a meeting password. If you don't have a meeting password, anyone with your link can get into the meeting, which is great. Set up a meeting password. Fantastic. There's only one slight downside to that, is when you share a meeting link, if you email that out to your attendees, you include the password with the invite. So it's great that there is a password. The problem is it's within the invite. What I didn't cover before was how are these meetings being hacked? So from what I've seen and read, it appears that meetings were being hacked by recurring meetings or meeting links being shared on the public internet. So if you had a recurring meeting, once a week class or something like that, and somehow the link to that meeting is shared on a forum, Facebook, or anywhere, where someone gets their hands on it who wants to join the meeting, they just click on the link and they come into your meeting. So that's how people are getting into the meeting. So the setting up a password, like I said, is great, but you've got to remember, if that information is shared, the link and the password is still out in the public domain, and then the link and the password can get in your meeting. So what else can you do? You can use the waiting room feature, a brilliant feature. I believe now it's turned on by default. If you set up a meeting today in Zoom, it is turned on by default. If it is not turned on, I advise you turn it on. So what does it do? Well, it's, as it would suggest, a virtual lobby or waiting room. So when someone joins your meeting, they have to wait in the waiting room. You, as the host, will be alerted to the fact that one of your attendees is there, and you can let them in. It's all great if you are running a small meeting. You're likely to know all your attendees probably by name. But what if you're doing a webinar? You don't know who all of these people who are attending are. So what can you do there? So the next thing, webinars are slightly different to virtual meetings, but in the same way, there's something else you can do is don't allow people, your attendees, to share their screen by default. So only allow the host to share their screen. That stops anyone coming into your meeting just sharing their screen, sharing something inappropriate, something offensive to the rest of the attendees. What else you can do? Mute all your attendees if you like, to start with the meetings. Make sure their video is turned off. All of those good things. So those are the basics for having a secure meeting. My three key settings I would advise are having a meeting password. If you are creating new meetings, use the waiting room feature. If you have old recurring meetings, go back and change the settings in a recurring meeting to enable that waiting room feature. And screen sharing, only allow the host to share by default. While you're in a meeting, you can share, allow other people to share their screen as and when required, and as the host, you can then take control back. And another setting which I've just thought of, well, I haven't just thought of it, I've known, but I've just remembered to mention to you, is locking the meeting. If the meeting is underway and you don't want anyone else to get into your meeting, just lock the meeting, and no one else can attend, and those people who are trying to join late won't be able to get in. So those are some of the basics. I will do a screen capture, and I'll attach it to after this video. We'll go through where you can find these settings and talk about some of the other settings which are available in Zoom. So hopefully you can go through and get your settings right, and you will have a much safer Zoom meeting. That's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to get it off my chest. It's been bugging me for a while, actually. So it's late in the evening, and I thought I need to record this because people need to know that it's not the fact that the service is insecure. Just enable the right settings. Anything else, reach out to us at TechSolve, and we will try to help you. All right, take care. Thanks, bye. All right, let's get signed in and let's have a quick look at some of these settings in Zoom. I'm using Password Manager, so I can get signed. Oh, okay. Click on the traffic lights. I can do this one. Great. So let's just hop over to the left-hand side. We'll go to settings. Let's look at some of the settings here. Host video is off. Start meetings with the host video on. So this will make sure that your video is off when you start the meeting, so you can double check that you're looking presentable. Likewise, the participant's video is off. And the first feature I want to look at is join before host. So I like to leave this as off, so that it doesn't allow your attendees to join the meeting until you're there. It's probably best practice for you to be in the meeting first anyway. You don't want people arriving and having a chat, and you've got stuck on a call, and you arrive 10 minutes late. Doesn't make for the best impression sometimes. The next thing I want to look for is the waiting room. It's right at the bottom. There's loads of features here. So waiting room, again, I believe this feature is now on by default. On the older version of Zoom, it wasn't on by default, but you want to make sure that the waiting room is on, so it sends all of your attendees into a waiting room, and they can't join the meeting until you allow them in. The next bit I want to look at is sharing. So by default, who can share? Only the host can share. Again, while the meeting is in progress, you can change that to allow other people to share. But I think to start, it's probably good that only the host can share as well. And then some of the other default settings which Zoom have now put in place meeting passwords and pins. So again, but a password's only as good as itself, really, and if that password is out there on the internet, someone can get into a meeting. So if you're running recurring meetings with the same password and you have a link out available on the internet, which has been shared widely, then people are going to be able to get into your meeting because they'll have the meeting link and they'll have the meeting password as well. So where there were cases of Zoom bombing, and even if it's still going on today, is because there were meetings with no password, and the meeting link, or maybe a recurring meeting, is being widely shared on the internet. So someone's got a link to the meeting and they don't need a password to get in, so they can join the meeting quite easily. So those are the basics I would recommend for your meeting. So let's go ahead and schedule a meeting. So I'm going to just set this as a half-hour meeting. So let's look at some of the basics here. It's got a meeting password and generating a new meeting ID for this meeting. And enable join before host, and that's off, so no one can join until I, as the host, start the meeting. Mute participants upon entry, so they are not muted. And we've got a little thing here that says this feature is only available with version 3.56 or later. So even if you turn that on, it may not apply depending what version they are running. Enable waiting room. We've spoken about that. Your attendees are going to sit in a waiting room waiting for you to attend, and record this meeting. We're not going to record this, so let's just save that. And let's start the meeting. Okay, meeting is starting. It's probably going to start on another screen. Yep, sure. Let's pull this across. Okay, so our meeting has started. You see in the video is off. I'm not going to turn that on right now because, to be honest, I'm not that presentable. But let's look at some of the other features. Our share screen settings. So only one participant can share at a time. If we go to the advanced sharing options, so who can share? Only the host can share. If I want to check all participants, that enables this setting beneath, which then says if someone is sharing, one of your participants, who else can take over the sharing. And again, leave it as the host. It is easier as the host if you're managing the meeting rather than all the participants and other people trying to barge in and share their screens. Probably not going to happen in a work situation, but in another situation, I've seen some of the educational providers, teachers who are running Zoom meetings, and some of the kids like to click around while they're supposed to be learning and see what they can do and cause some disruption where they can. So yeah, if possible, only allow the host to share, or if you're going to allow someone else to share, only then allow the host to share after and sort of stay in control of the meeting. Some of the other bits, chat, and it's just who's able to chat. Your chats, if you want to type a message, will appear here. Who you're going to be messaging, this will be everyone in the meeting. Participants, there's only myself in the meeting. This is also where we come, if you want to mute everyone really quickly, and probably quite good sometimes, again, depending on the type of meeting you're running, to mute everyone if you've got someone just presenting. There may be other background noise, people working from home, children, dogs, etc. So you can mute all the attendees in one go. And this is a security feature. Now, this menu item wasn't there in the older versions of Zoom. If you haven't updated your Zoom client, I know some people haven't, you're not going to get this security feature. But what they've done is they put all the security features onto one menu item, so it's in a handy place. So from here, you can lock the meeting. So once you know everyone's in your meeting, you can lock it, or if you want to start anyway, lock the meeting. It will prevent anyone else from joining. Enable waiting room, so that's on already. as we've spoken about that again before. People will have to wait till you admit them. You'll get a notification people are waiting. You can share the screen. This is the same as the share screen function down here. So participants aren't allowed to share, but they can chat and they can rename themselves. So I think that covers the basics for how to run a secure meeting. So I'm going to leave it there. But if there is anything else that you want to know, feel free to get in contact with myself, Oggy at TechSolve, and yeah, I will look forward to speaking to you. Cheers, bye.